Hey guys, so here we are meeting again as a continuation to my last video on conductors, semiconductors and insulators. My name is Priya Singh Range. I'm an assistant professor at LJ Institute of Physiotherapy, and today we'll be looking at what are different semiconductors. So we'll be talking about semiconductors, PN type diodes, forward biasing, reverse biasing and rectification. Beginning with what are semiconductors. Semiconductors are usually metals which, because of thermal agitation or the addition of impurities, have electrons that are free to conduct current. These are elements that exhibit characteristics of an insulator, but they have some electrons among them that can behave as electrons behave in a conductor. That is, they can be made free in order to conduct electricity. There are basically two types of semiconductors. We have intrinsic type of semiconductors and impurity type of semiconductors. The intrinsic type of semiconductors are those which at room temperature may not possess sufficient electrons to conduct current, but at higher temperatures or because of thermal agitation, the electrons may get free from their orbits and they may be free in order to conduct current. So at room temperature, these kind of elements may not be able to conduct electricity, but at higher temperatures they will be able to conduct electricity. These are intrinsic type of semiconductors. An example of intrinsic semiconductors is germanium. The other type of semiconductors is the impurity semiconductors. These impurity semiconductors, as the name suggests, are elements which, because of impurities that are added in them, may possess free electrons that can conduct electric current. So here what is required is the addition of impurities. This addition of impurities into the semiconductors, this process is called doping. So because of doping, these semiconductors might possess some free electrons which may conduct electric current. These kind of semiconductors are known as impurity semiconductors. An example of impurity semiconductors is silicon. Germanium can also be made into an impurity semiconductor. If you are adding a little amount of phosphorus to silicon, then phosphorus can give certain free electrons to the silicon element, and thus an impurity semiconductor can be made. The impurity semiconductors are in turn of two types, the N-type and the P-type. The N-type semiconductors have excess of electrons, whereas the P-type semiconductors have a deficiency of electrons. We can think of these deficiencies as empty spaces or holes which are termed as positive holes, hence the name P-type semiconductors. So N-type semiconductors or negative type semiconductors with excess of electrons, and P-type semiconductors or positive type semiconductors with an excessive positive holes or deficiency of electrons. These are the two different types of impurity semiconductors. The N-type semiconductor can be termed as a donor impurity, and the P-type can be termed as the acceptor impurity. That is, with N-type they have excess electrons which they are ready to donate, and hence the term donor impurity. With P-type there is a deficiency of electrons and they need to accept electrons. That's why the term acceptor impurity. If the P-type and the N-type semiconductors are fused together, we have two blocks. We have one block of a P-type semiconductor and we have one block of an N-type semiconductor, and we are fusing these two blocks together. Then electrons can pass from the P-type semiconductor to the N-type semiconductor to the P-type semiconductor, since N has excess electrons and P has excess holes or positive holes. So the electrons are free to move from the N-type to the P-type, but the electrons will not be able to move back from the P-type semiconductor to the N-type semiconductor, and hence in this manner the semiconductor acts as a valve, since it allows the flow of electric current only in one direction, that is from the N, the flow of electrons from the N to the P-type. The PN type diode, what I explained, the structure that I explained, we have two different terminals, or we have two different electrodes that are consisted in the semiconductor device, and it allows the current to flow in only one direction and blocks the current flow in the reverse or the opposite direction. This kind of an arrangement is called a PN type of diode, because we have one P semiconductor and one N semiconductor. It is termed as a junction diode because there is a junction between the two different semiconductors, and it can be developed from semiconductor materials like silicon, germanium, gallium arsenide, etc. With the PN junction type diode, we can perform a process which is known as biasing. When we apply an external voltage to the PN junction semiconductor diode, the process is called biasing. This external voltage can be applied in two different methods. One is the forward biasing method and the other one is the reverse biasing method. In the forward biasing method, the current will be allowed to flow, whereas in the reverse biasing method, the current will not be allowed to flow. Why so? Because with the forward bias semiconductor, we are connecting the P-type semiconductor to the positive terminal of the battery and the N-type semiconductor to the negative terminal of the battery. As you can see in the figure, here the P-type or the N anode is connected to the positive terminal or the anode terminal of the battery, whereas the negative N-type semiconductor is connected to the negative terminal or the cathode terminal of the battery. What is going to happen with this kind of arrangement? Since we know that the P-type has excessive holes and the N-type has excessive electrons, so the electrons are going to flow from the N-type to the P-type. When this external voltage has not been applied, when we are connecting the two different types of semiconductors, even without the external voltage, there is going to be some flow of electrons. That is, some amount of electrons are going to flow from the N-type to the P-type. That will cause a little shift in the polarity, that is in this area that is lying close in proximity with the other semiconductor, that is in the P-type, will have electrons or negativity in this particular area, and in the N-type will have positivity in this particular area. So there is a reversal of polarities in this area, which leads to a reduced potential, and that particular region is called the depletion region. Because of this depletion region, there is going to be an increase in resistance to the flow of electrons. So when we do not have an external voltage, when we are connecting the two different types of semiconductors, there will be a flow of electrons from the N-type to the P-type, but this will only be for a few while, only for a little period of time, till the development of the depletion region. When we are applying an external voltage to this particular arrangement or this PN type junction diode in the forward biased position, what will happen is that because we are applying the negative terminal to the N type and we are applying the positive terminal to the P type, there is going to be an increased potential difference across the two different semiconductors, and that will increase the force with which the P-type semiconductor is going to attract the electrons from the N-type semiconductor, and this in turn will enhance the current that will flow through the semiconductor, hence allowing a flow of electric current across the semiconductor junction diode. So that is the forward biasing current position. Next is the reverse biasing method. In the reverse biasing, there will be no current that will be flowing. Why so? Because here it will be the opposite of what we have done with forward biasing. We are going to connect the P-type semiconductor to the negative terminal of the battery and the N-type semiconductor to the positive terminal of the battery. So what is going to happen? The depletion region. Now here, because we have connected the P-type to the negative terminal and we have connected the N-type to the positive terminal, it is going to reduce the potential difference. It is going to increase the resistance across the depletion region, and effectively reducing the amount of electrons that are moving from the n-type to the p-type, and thus blocking the current altogether. So in this manner we can use the semiconductor PN junction type diode as a regulating circuit or as a switch. When we are putting it in the forward biasing position, there is going to be an increase in flow of electrons, or we are going to allow the flow of electrons, and when we are putting it in the reverse bias position, it is going to reduce the or stop the flow of electric current, hence effectively acting as a switch or a valve. Another technique where we can use the PN junction type of diode is for the rectification purpose. When we want to rectify an alternating current into a direct current, so we are going to convert the AC or the alternating current into a direct current. Why so? Because in an alternating current you are going to have an alternating cycle of current, that is, once it is going to flow from one direction to the other, and in the other one it is going to flow in the vice versa direction. But here when we are putting a junction diode, a PN junction diode, the current will be allowed to flow in only one direction and not in the reverse direction. That will lead to a half wave rectification of the alternating current, and the alternating current will be converted into a pulsed direct current. If we require a full wave junction or full wave rectification, then that will require 4 different types of junctions, and hence we can use it for full wave rectification also. So the PN junction type of diode can be used for various purposes. It can act as a valve, it can act as a switch, it can be used as a rectifier for full wave rectification, for half wave rectification. So semiconductors can be used for different purposes in the electrical circuit, for using the number of junction diodes, for using the type of junction diode that we want to use. All these usages will depend on the purpose that we require the semiconductor to fulfill in the circuit. So that is all about the semiconductors. For further reading, you can refer Foster and Palastanga, Clayton's Electrotherapy. Thank you.